What the mainstream media was too afraid to tell you about the news this week. This week, while the mainstream media obsessed over handsy Joe Biden, here are the things that happened that really matter. Former Obama Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jeh Johnson said what is happening at the border is a crisis. Johnson said Border Patrol, under his control, was overwhelmed by 1,000 apprehensions a day. Now, the Border Patrol is dealing with 4,000 apprehensions a day, 100,000 every month. And Johnson said, quote, by any measure, 4,000 apprehensions on our southern border in one day, 100,000 in a month is a crisis. But did the mainstream media report on this? Did the mainstream media ask why the Democrats keep calling it a fake emergency when even Obama administration officials admit it is a crisis? Nope, the mainstream media didn't say a word. The New York Times and the Washington Post published fake news this week. The New York Times headline reads, "Some on Mueller's team say the report was more damaging than Barr revealed." The articles insinuated that Attorney General Barr lied in his summary of the Mueller report and that Mueller team members were calling him out. Except, when you read the articles, neither outlet actually talked to Mueller's team. They used basically a third-degree anonymous source. The article doesn't even anonymously quote Mueller's team itself. They quote a person familiar with an associate who heard from a Mueller team member. But did the mainstream media call out their own for absolutely embarrassing reporting? Nope. The mainstream media acted like this was a smoking gun, proving a cover-up of evidence that Trump is guilty. Pathetic. In the wake of the handsy Joe Biden stories, Democrats claim the other moderate candidate in the Democratic primary race is Pete Buttigieg. Buttigieg is a moderate, they tell us. But Buttigieg supports late-term abortion, abolishing the Electoral College, government-run health care, reparations for slavery, amnesty for illegals, soda bans, taxing the rich, and stacking the Supreme Court. That is not moderate, that's radical. But did the mainstream media report to you Buttigieg's radical positions on these issues? No. The mainstream media is going along with the left, using the same tactic the left used to elevate Obama, whom they claimed was a moderate too, even though he was a radical. Judge Brian Hagedorn won the Supreme Court election in Wisconsin against a very liberal opponent, despite nasty attacks on his religion from the left. The left accused him of being anti-gay because he serves on the board of a Christian school that teaches traditional Christian doctrine on natural marriage and sexual morality. And because of a blog post Hagedorn wrote in law school analyzing Justice Scalia's Supreme Court ruling on illegalizing sodomy. For this, the left said his Christian beliefs make him unfit for the judiciary. But Hagedorn won. After all the money the left spent, despite all these attacks, despite the religious bigotry from the left, Hagedorn won. Religious freedom won. But did the mainstream media report on this? No, they didn't, because the mainstream media is in the pocket of the left, and this is the next strategy of the left, stopping political opponents by attacking their Christian religious beliefs. Venezuela is facing 30 days of electricity rationing. They barely have any internet. Millions of Venezuelans are without water. Inflation is at 2.69 million%. 3 million people have fled the country. There is starvation and lack of medicine. Life expectancy has dropped by 3 years. Babies are dying in hospitals. The dictator Maduro blocked humanitarian aid. He threatened the baby daughter and the grandmother of opposition leader Juan Guaido and tried to strip Guaido of his parliamentary immunity. And still, none of the Democratic 2020 presidential contenders will condemn the socialism that has led to the destruction of Venezuela. But did the mainstream media report on this silence from the left, since the left is also touting socialism to bring here to the United States? Nope. The mainstream media won't say a word. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you, so we will. And that is my final point.